The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule, and that's all the rules there are. I mean, if you buy things for far below what they're worth and you buy a group of them, you basically don't lose money.
Warren, what do you consider the most important quality for an investment manager?
It's a temperamental quality, not an intellectual quality. You don't need tons of IQ in this business. I mean, you have to have enough IQ to get from here to downtown Omaha, but you do not have to be able to play three-dimensional chess or be in the top leagues in terms of bridge playing or something of the sort. You need a stable personality. You need a temperament that neither derives great pleasure from being with the crowd or against the crowd, because this is not a business where you take polls. It's a business where you think. And Ben Graham would say that you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people agree with you. And you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people disagree with you. You're right because your facts and your reasoning are right.
And the most important thing to keep in mind if you're investing in stocks is what?
Is always getting more for your money than you pay. it's like buying anything else. And
What's the biggest mistake people make, though?
Well, the biggest mistake they make is listening to a lot of other people and buying something because they think it's going to go up next week or next month. And for whatever reason people give you, you should understand what you buy. Now, if you buy a farm, you look at the farm and you say, I expect to get so many bushels per acre of corn or soybeans, and you figure out how much that'll be worth, and then you figure out what the price should be. If you buy an apartment house, you look at what the rentals will be and what the taxes and expenses will be, and then you decide how much income you'll have, and you pay a fair price for that. But you don't, in stocks, people, their neighbor whispers something to them, and they run out and spend money that it took them years to earn. So you always want to look at the productive ability of the asset you're buying, whether it's a farm, apartment house, or a company, but the company is represented by a stock. And if you always get your money's worth, you'll do very well. Well, you would certainly pick a sector that's large, because it isn't going to make any difference to Berkshire if we get to be experts on some tiny little industry or business. I would say that it would have to be something in the, this isn't going to happen, but if I could really become expert, and I mean really expert, knowing more than almost anybody else about the subject, in the tech field, I think that would be terrific. It isn't going to happen, but it's going to be a huge field. There are likely to be, a few enormous winners, a lot of disappointments, so that the ability to pick the winners, is far disproportionate to the ability to pick the winners, we'll say, among major integrated oil companies, where they're sort of all equated in price. And you're not going to have a big edge in trying to pick Chevron against Exxon, against Continental, and Occidental, and you name it. But the degree of disparity in results among larger tech companies in the future is likely to be very, very dramatic. And if I had the skills where I could pick the winners there, I would do a lot better than if I had the skills to pick the winners in the major integrated oil field. You probably will have better luck with Charlie on this one, because he knows a lot more about a lot of industries than I do. Charlie, what's your answer? In investing in marketable securities, you can change your mind tomorrow and sell if you feel you've made a mistake. When you buy a business, we buy businesses to keep. So our margin of safety is not in the price we pay. It's in crossing the threshold of being virtually certain that we're buying into a business that has durable competitive advantage, one with good economics, and we're buying in with people who have a passion for the business and who are going to run it the same way the year after they sold to us that they ran it the year before. So our margin of safety gets more into qualitative characteristics than the quantitative aspects that you're probably referring to in terms of the Ben Graham standard of buying a business for. He would say buy a stock. If you think a stock is worth $10, don't pay $9.90 for it, but pay $8 or something like that. When you're buying businesses, it's a different criteria. You're buying to keep, and you better make sure that you're buying both a business that you're going to like 10 or 20 years from now and a management that you're going to love 10 or 20 years from now. We don't look for specific sectors. We do look for businesses that I can understand. Now, when I say understand, that means where I feel that I have a high degree of confidence in my ability to see what they're going to look like 5, 10, 20 years from now. It isn't that I don't understand, say, the software products in general of a Microsoft, but I don't know how that industry is going to develop over 10 or 20 years. I didn't know that Google was going to come along in terms of search or all kinds. So anything that's rapidly developing, that has lots of change embodied in it, by my definition, I won't understand. It may do wonders for society. It may have what appears to be a very bright future, but I don't bring anything to that game where I know, not only I don't know more than the other fellow, I don't know as much as the other fellow in evaluating what the industry will look like in 10 years. So the things I look at businesses that are reasonably easy to evaluate where their products, how they will fit into the economic picture, how their economics will look in a 5 or 10 or 20-year period. I mean, to take an extreme example, I can understand Nestle, it's obviously, and you can understand it, anybody that's had any experience in business can look at that company and figure out in a general way where it will be in 5 or 10 years. And we're looking, Nestle isn't going to be on the list, but we're looking for businesses like that are quite understandable. And but I don't go out and say I'm looking for the steel industry or I'm looking for the, whatever, maybe office equipment industry or something of the sort.